Well, what's up, everybody? Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax, and today we're going to take a look at our first prospect hot sheet of the 2024 MILB season. Now, this is going to be a series that I will be doing every 2 weeks where I cover the hottest prospects from the past 15 days. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I am going to do this every 2 weeks, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you guys get to keep up on your Bowman Chrome auto collection. Now, before we get into our players, we're going to take a look at some of the things that may be confusing in this video. First is going to be my Let's Talk Wax ranking system, and you can see here by this graph that I have them in different tiers. The rank is based on the player ceiling, so the best possible outcome for a player is what the rank is based on. You can see I have Elite as ML MVP, a 1 as an MLB Superstar, a 2 as an MLB Organizational Star, 3 as an MLB Above Average Regular, 4 as an MLB Regular, 5 is an MLB Below Average Regular, 6 is an MLB Bench/Platoon Role Player, and 7 is a guy that fizzles out in the upper minors. I'm also going to be applying a Juggernaut rank to each of these prospects in the top 15. Now, this is my non-biased, I guess it's a biased, non-biased, but it is stats-based, but they are cherry-picked stats that I like, such as weighted on base average, stolen bases per plate appearance, K percentage, swinging strike percentage, WRC plus, and age level. I've created a formula to kind of weigh each of those stats, and I grade every single player that has over 150 at-bats in the minor league season. I have my complete and finalized 2023 Juggernaut rankings available on Patreon page, and I also have made my first update to the 2024 Juggernaut rankings. Of course, those guys are all less than 150 plate appearances, but once everybody kind of crosses that threshold of 150 plate appearances, I'm going to kind of fizzle some guys out that only have 20 to 40 plate appearances or may be injured and trying to come back, and their numbers are kind of inflated because of a small sample size. So the finalized rankings are 150 plate appearance minimum, and the ones that I have out for 2024 right now are just off the guys that just started the season. So if you want to check those full rankings out, you can catch them on Patreon page. I'll put a link to it in the video description. And I want to be clear also on the qualifications for Hot Sheet. A lot of people like to hammer me in the comments last year when I did the series because they didn't know the rules, but players have to be under the age of 24. A lot of people want to know where Heston Kjerstad was all last season. He's in the major leagues now, but last year he did not meet the age qualification. Players must be within rookie limits, so players can go up to the major leagues and play a few games and get sent back down, and as long as they didn't exceed rookie limits, they can still be on Hot Sheet. And players must have a Bowman first chrome or a first autograph card, and those are all the qualifications for Prospect Hot Sheet. All right, so now that we are through with the boring stuff, I'm going to get into our top 15. I've also got about probably 50 to 60 honorable mentions that I'm going to sneak in before we get to our top 5, but I only go in depth with the top 15. And like I said, I've got a ton of honorable mentions lined up that I will get to you guys as well, guys. It just didn't quite make the top 15, but lots of names to check out in this episode. One thing I also want to mention before we start this episode is that the stats are going to be super inflated, being within the first month of the season. These are all the players that start off the season hot, and you can see every single player's average is in red. Every single player's average ISO is in red except for one. So you're going to notice that these stats are very inflated. These players haven't played a full season. They haven't gotten onto a cold streak yet. So these numbers are going to change drastically throughout the course of Prospect Hot Sheet. And also my Juggernaut ranking system only has the updated data from the first part of the season. So we're looking at a Juggernaut ranking system based on stats from 50 games. So you're going to see in the top 5, I've got a guy named Creed Willems, and currently on the Juggernaut ranking system, he's number 9, but I think in 2023, he was somewhere around 800. So he's off to a hot start. And the Juggernaut ranking systems will start to get a lot better as we get a larger sample size with these players. So if you see guys like Creed Willems who had really bad seasons last year and they're off to a hot start this year, their Juggernaut rank is going to be a bit high, so don't let that be deceiving. Just wanted to throw those things out there before we jumped into our first guy, who is going to be Ricardo Cabrera. Now, this guy came out of 2022 Bowman Chrome, and he's been hitting since being signed in the 2022 international class. He's been a very big bat so far. He's 19.5. Playing in A again. I expect him to be in high A by the end of the year for sure. Cincinnati Reds shortstop. Over the last 30 days. Now, I did wait 30 days to get this this hot sheet out because 2024 Bowman came out. I had to finish all my content for that, but I will be doing this every 15 days. But this episode is kind of an outlier. I'm going to be doing 30 days. So some of the AAA guys had a lot more plate appearances and they have more home runs and all that. But that being said, let's get back to Ricardo Cabrera. 348, 2 homers, 4 doubles, 6 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases over the last month. He's had 55 plate appearances, hitting 348 with a 217 ISO. Excellent K numbers, 18.1 K percentage, a 1.42 K to walk ratio. Now, in order to get into the red with K numbers, you have to have a sub 20 K percentage and a sub 2 K to walk ratio. That's where I like my K numbers. Home runs, 2, stolen bases, 2. In Juggernaut, he's number 180 right now. A Let's Talk Wax rank of 1.5. So that's got a pretty high ceiling for him. Like I said, he's out of 2022 Bowman Chrome. His cards are actually pretty cheap, around $30 for a guy who has done nothing but perform since being signed in 2022. We'll go to Matthew Lugo, Boston Red Sox, third baseman. Played in Double-A last year. He's back in Double-A again, 22.9. Lugo was pretty horrific last year in 2023. I thought he could have been a sleeper guy going into the 2023 season, but he did struggle quite a bit in Double-A last year. He's off to a hot start this year. Maybe the experience under his belt from 2023 is going to help propel him in 2024. He's hit 357 with 3 homers, 3 doubles, a triple, and 12 RBIs. He's currently got the highest ISO on this list at 455. And like I said, these are inflated numbers. I've never seen a guy finish a regular season with a 455 ISO in my prospecting career. Wyatt Langford and Kyle Manzardo have tried to do it before, but they haven't even gotten close. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how inflated stats are at the front half of the season. The K rate is a little fringy for me, 25.6. I really don't like it to get above 25. When it gets into the 29 to 30 range, I start to really kind of get a little wincy on prospects. 1.66 K to walk ratio, so that's in play. 3 home runs, as I said before, 0 stolen bases. He's 125 on the Juggernaut ranking system. He's a 4.5 as a Let's Talk Wax rank because of how poorly he performed in 2023. I do take things like that into account. He's out of 2019 Bowman draft. Some of you guys may not know what those cards even look like. They're so old, but you can find breakdowns for every release since 2019 over my Patreon page of all the players that are on those autograph checklists. So that's something cool to check out over there. His cards are super cheap at $5. You know, he's kind of a risky buy just because he's had he's struggled so much in Double-A already. But he could be a guy that kind of picks it up. Like I said, you know, he struggled last year, and maybe he's got some experience and some confidence under his belt to have a good season in Double-A this year. Number 13, we've got Emmanuel Rodriguez, another guy. He had like 17 home runs, I think, last year. I think he had double-digit home runs and double-digit stolen bases. The K percentage was pretty high. He didn't hit for a ton of average, but there are a lot of tools, and there's some big juice that comes along with Emmanuel Rodriguez. He's probably more power than speed, but he does have a power-speed combo. 21.2, playing in Double-A this year, Minnesota Twins center fielder. He hit 4 bombs and 5 doubles. And the thing that shocked me the most with Emmanuel Rodriguez, while he did K 21 times in the last month, he took 20 walks, which is very impressive of a stat for any player at the Double-A level. That's a lot of walks. So what I'm thinking is there's a little bit of swing and miss there. It's not necessarily the approach or chasing. It's more or less him probably swinging and missing just based off the stat line. I don't get to watch these guys every day, so it's hard for me to see, you know, things that may be issues with their approach, or if it's a swing flaw, if they're just swinging and missing a lot. But he does have a 30.4% K rate. Like I said, that leads me to believe that his approach is there. He's just swinging and missing at pitches that may be breaking balls, sliders. You know, Double-A pitches get pretty nasty. So definitely something to consider there with Emmanuel Rodriguez. 306 average, 408 ISO. These numbers are just crazy. 1.05 K to walk ratio. He's already got 4 bombs and 8 stolen bases, the most amount of stolen bases on this list so far to start the season. He is a top 100 prospect on MLB.com at number 39. In the Juggernaut ranking system, he's number 3. He's a 2.5 on the Let's Talk Wax rank for me, just because of the K percentage. You know, he's a very high ceiling prospect. This guy's got an enormous ceiling, but for me, I've always had kind of I've always been conscious of K numbers. You know, that got me in trouble a little bit with Ellie De La Cruz when he was a prospect. I wasn't super high on Ellie because of the K rates, but I'm going to stay at 2.5 with Emmanuel. But I will say that he does have an enormous ceiling, probably one of the higher ceilings on this list as far as a 5-tool type of player. He's out of 2021 Bowman Chrome, which was an absolute bloodbath, so I wouldn't rip that product trying to find him. I would definitely go the singles route. His stuff was around $100. It kind of peaked around $100 to $125, and it's right around $60 right now. But like I said, big power bat. He's got some speed to go with it, but the K rate is something to definitely pay attention to. At number 12, we've got Frederick Ben-Cosme. He is more of a contact-oriented hitter. While, you know, he did hit 3 home runs over the last 30 days, like I said, he's more of a contact guy. He hasn't been known to put up huge ISOs. He's just been a solid hit tool guy. He only hit 2 home runs back in 2023. He's already got 3 to date in 2024. So maybe he's growing into a little bit of power, but I don't see him being an impact power bat. That could change. You never know what happens. This guy's only 21.3, and usually power is the last thing to come with these prospects. He's in the Baltimore system, so you know he's going to get coached very well. He's going to get taught how to hit, but there's so many big bats in that system. I'm afraid he may get buried, not having as much juice as some guys like Basallo and Mayo, and Jackson Holliday's already up at the big league level. Connor Norby is on this honorable mention list. There's just so many bats in that system that's very easy to get buried in the minor leagues. But he had a good last 30 days, 357 average on the year, 232 ISO, a 10% K rate, the best on this list. So he's not swinging and missing a lot. He's taking some walks as well with a 1.5 K to walk ratio. He's number 46 on the Juggernaut ranking system, not ranked in MLB's top 100. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 5, and that could change a little bit going into the season if he continues to be like a steady bat. He could be a guy that increases Let's Talk Wax rank. I try to update all my autograph checklist breakdowns with my Let's Talk Wax ranks about 3 times a year, so things could definitely change. He's out of 2023 Bowman Chrome. His cards are super cheap. They're right around $15 right now. And at number 11 to finish up this group is going to be Kyle Manzardo, 23.8, just barely qualifying for hot sheet now. He's been traded to the Cleveland Guardians. That happened last year. He's in AAA this year. He is a first baseman. He hit 4 bombs, 6 doubles, and had 10 RBIs and 12 walks over the last 30 days. Now, Kyle Manzardo, back in going like post-draft, he was one of the biggest power and hit tool bats for a long time. His autos kind of peaked around $100 to $125. In 2022, he had a monster season. Last year in 2023, I think maybe the trade and the transition may have caught up with him. He only hit 237, but he did have a 227 ISO. 2022 was kind of just like a unicorn year. It was kind of like Wyatt Langford's 2023 season. The numbers were just outrageous and stupid, but he did struggle a little bit with his batting average, you know, and getting more solid balls in play last year. So he's going to be a big power bat, that's for sure. It's just a matter of how much average he's going to hit for at the major league level. He's already got 5 home runs in the 2024 season right now. Top 100 prospect, he's at number 53 on the Juggernaut ranking system. He's 328, probably because of his age. He's a bit old, and the Juggernaut ranking system does not favor guys who are close to 24. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2. At one time, I did have Kyle Manzardo at Elite. That was back in 21 when he was putting up elite numbers. And like I said with Ben Cosme, you know, Let's Talk Wax ranks change as I update all of my autograph checklist breakdowns. He's out of Bowman draft in 2021. His cards are down to around $55 right now. We're going to jump into our top 10. Now, if you guys enjoy my content and you'd like to help support the channel, be sure to check out my Patreon page. I'll put a link to it in the video description. I have free and exclusive subscriber content over there, including Bowman Chrome autograph checklist breakdowns for every release since 2019, including the recent 2024 Bowman autograph checklist breakdown. I've got Bowman team break guides for every release since 2020, including the 2024 Bowman team break guide. I've got a top 150 Bowman Chrome autos list, a top 150 Bowman Chrome autos under $50 list, access to my Juggernaut ranking system that is archived for all 2023 players and has just been recently updated for all 2024 players. You get early access to my YouTube video info and Let's Talk Wax articles, plus much more. You can find all exclusive content organized in the collections tab on my homepage if you guys get confused over there. But I'll put a link to my Patreon page in the video description. I appreciate everyone who supports me already. Leading off our top 10 is Jordan Beck, the former Tennessee Volunteer, 23.1, playing in AAA this year, Colorado Rockies. He is an outfielder, hit .270, but he had 5 home runs, 6 doubles, 2 triples, and 20 ribbies in the last 30 days. 2023 was a huge season for Jordan Beck. Between high A and double A, he had 25 jacks and 20 stolen bases. So this kid's been performing for quite a while now in the upper minors, hitting .288 on the season with a .312 ISO. You can see the K percentage is in check, the K to walk ratio is in check, 5 homers, 2 stolen bases already. He is not a top 100 prospect, but I feel like maybe a mid-season update may happen, and a lot of guys are going to graduate from MLB.com's top 100 list in the next update, and Jordan Beck really could be a guy that we might see on that list with another update. And if he doesn't make the cut, I'm sure he's not far from it. On the Juggernaut ranking system, he is a 118 rank. Like I said, it does not favor older prospects, and Jordan Beck is 23. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2.5 out of 2022 Bowman draft, and his cards have gotten pretty expensive. They're sitting right around $90 right now. At number 9, we've got Edgar Caro. I just did a sleeper video on this guy. He's had an elite hit tool for several years. The hit tool has always been there. The power's been the big question. He was traded to the White Sox last year. He's in Double A this year. He's a catcher with just average tools behind the plate, so his defensive ceiling is not very high. The bat's definitely going to have to play, but the big thing for me was Caro's power development. He's already hit 5 home runs so far this year. He's got 19 RBIs to go with the season, so he's definitely getting to a little more power in 2024. Now, the home runs, I did watch about 4 of them, and they weren't moonshots, they weren't monster shots, as I mentioned on my Sleeper Prospects video, but they were kind of more or less wall scrapers. I think the key to him hitting for more power is getting the ball in the air more. He's known to have higher ground ball to fly ball rates, but I think if he gets the ball in the air, he can leave the yard. It's not going to be monster shots. Like I said, he's not going to blow you away with exit velo, but I think he will have a little more power in the tank if he gets the ball in the air more. He is not a top 100 prospect on the Juggernaut ranking system. He's number 24. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2. He's out of 2022 Bowman, and his cards are right around $15 right now. At number 8, we've got Ralphie Velasquez, who's had excellent career numbers. He's 18.9. He's a catcher in the Cleveland Guardian system, playing in low A right now. Hit .352 with 4 homers, 3 doubles, and 17 ribbies over the last 30 days. He holds a .352 batting average and a .278 ISO so far. The K numbers are okay at 23.4 and 2.14 for the K to walk ratio. Like I said, I like a sub 20 K percentage and a sub 2 K to walk ratio. That's right in the pocket for me. The lower the better with those numbers. 4 home runs on the season so far and 1 stolen base. He's not a top 100 prospect. He is number 54 currently on the Juggernaut ranking system, and I updated that about 2 weeks ago. No, I think it was actually a week ago, so it's pretty current. I'm going to try to update that every month and do a video on the top 10 or 15. So like I said, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, be sure to subscribe to the channel. He is a 2023 Bowman draftee with a $55 card right now. At number 7, we've got Gavin Conticello, 20.8, playing in high A with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's a first base / right fielder. I also did another video on him earlier this week as a $5 auto. I thought that he was a pretty decent buy at $5 for what he's done in the back half. It was actually the back third of 2023. He was in high A in the back third of 2023, had a really good showing in high A, and he repeated high A so far this year. He's doing really well, hitting .370 with 241 ISO. He's already got 4 homers. He can hit the ball to all sides of the field, 10 ribbies, 3 stolen bases. So I feel like if he performs well this year and continues to perform and gets a promotion to Double A and does well there, I think his cards will go up a lot more than $5. And I like to try to find these super cheap guys. So even if you guys do decide to collect them, even if they don't pan out and they end up stinking it up, you're not going to be out a whole lot of money into your collection. So I enjoy doing the $5 auto videos. 99% of them pan out and 1% of them actually do pan out. So just something to keep in mind. They're more or less fun videos. But Gavin Conicello, he is a cheap auto out of 2022 Bowman. He's got a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3.5, and his cards have actually jumped to $10 over the last couple of days. I think people, saw the numbers that he's putting up so far in high A, and they were kind of like, this guy's 6'4". He could have power to all sides of the field. He's hit 4 jacks already. Maybe he's a little more valuable than $5. But you also have to understand he's had mediocre career numbers. Definitely something to consider there, and that's why he was a $5 auto. His best numbers come from the last third of 2023 and the very front half of 63 plate appearances in 2024. So we'll see what happens with Conicello. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on as a sleeper prospect. At number 6, we have an absolute not sleeper. I love this guy. Carson Williams is one of my favorite prospects, probably in minor league baseball. He's 20.9 years old. He's playing in Double A again. He played in Double A last year. Had a quick promotion to Triple A, and then went back down to Double A with all the Wander Franco stuff that was kind of, just it trickled down through the system after he went through his issues. But he's a shortstop with huge raw power. He's got athleticism to stick at the position, and he's also got a very big power bat, and he's been hitting for a little bit of average as well. 3 homers, 6 doubles, 9 ribbies, and 4 stolen bases over the last 30 days. He's got a 357 average and a 268 ISO. Now, the thing with Carson Williams, now he has the big power, but he also does have some swing and miss. He's held kind of career high K percentages throughout his career. They've always been in the upper 20s. But the thing I don't like that's going on right now, and it's early in the year, he's only had 60 plate appearances. He's not taking a ton of walks right now. It looks like he's super aggressive. He's got a 5.66 K to walk ratio. But, as a former player, that could also mean that he is seeing the ball very, very well right now, and he is not missing pitches that he gets to hit. Sometimes when guys get really locked in and the ball looks like an absolute beach ball, they don't swing and miss a lot. They don't miss a lot of pitches in their zone, which kind of translates to a lot of contact and less walks. So that may be what's going on with Carson Williams. Like I said, covering thousands of prospects every day. I don't get to watch guys on the daily regular, and I know there's a lot of prospectors and minor league guys out there who stick to certain players that they collect. They stick to certain teams that they watch very closely. So if anybody has any extra information on any of these guys that you kind of follow very closely, that's always helpful in the comments, because like I said, I've got so many different names to keep up with. It's hard to really dig very, very deep into a lot of these players, and that's where everybody in the community kind of helps me out in the comments sometimes when they're not telling me how crappy my videos are or how wrong I am about other players. So definitely would appreciate any deeper dives in the comments, because I love the community that we kind of have here at Let's Talk Wax. Top 100, he is number 18, and I foresee him going even higher prior to his call-up. He's number 8 in the Juggernaut rank system. He's a 1.5 for me in the Let's Talk Wax rank. I think there's only from 2019 to 2024 Bowman, I think I've only got about 6 elite players. There may be about 15 Let's Talk Wax rank 1s, and maybe 20 to 25 1.5, maybe not even that many. So I am very particular about who I rank in the top tiers. Elite, I mean, those are guys like Jackson Holiday, like Jason Chourio, Junior Caminero. Those are your elite level tier guys, and it just kind of trickles down from there. So you see, how special those top rankees are. The highest ranking player on this list is the number 1 guy. I'm not going to spoil it, but he does have a Let's Talk Wax rank of 1. Carson Williams is out of 2021 Bowman draft. A lot of the Carson Williams cards that I had in my collection that I was going to try to sub did have a lot of surface issues with them, so I'm not sure if he carried them around a duffel bag when he was signing them or what, but just be aware when you check the surface that there may be maybe it was just the particular ones that I had bought. But let me know if you guys saw some quality control with Carson Williams as well. His cards are right around $75 right now, and I do expect them to kind of jump a little bit. I just hope that the K to walk ratio does come down a little bit in the next couple of months. We're going to jump into our honorable mentions, then I'm going to have the top 5 for you. All right, so I'm going to break these up by the league that the players play in. We're going to start with AAA, AA, high A, and low A. I'm not going to spend a ton of time breaking down each individual player. So if you guys want to grab some screenshots of these players, I'm going to give you some of the players that were very hot and a few players that were very cold. Out of the International and Pacific Coast League in AAA, Everson Pereira, Victor Mesa Jr., Tyler Black, a guy that made the hot sheet this year, a speed power guy, but he's got a little age. He's about 23 and some change. James Wood, another one of the highest ceiling prospects in baseball right now. Connor Norby, we mentioned him before, another big bat out of the Baltimore Orioles system, which is just loaded. Tommy Sagasi, who's done nothing but rake his entire career. He's now a St. Louis Cardinal. He came up in the Texas Rangers organization. And Jonathan Clase was recently called up to the MLB. He is a huge speed power guy as well. Ice cold in AAA right now is Reese Hines. He's got 36 strikeouts in 76 plate appearances. He's hitting 158. He did make some strides last year, but he's struggling to find it right now in 2024. And Luis Matos, who got some big league time last year, he's in AAA with the San Francisco Giants, had 2 home runs and 5 doubles, but he's hitting 226. So hopefully he can get it going. We're going to jump over to AA. Into the Eastern League, we've got several names here. Spencer Jones is a guy that kind of got really hot during spring training, and he's continuing his hot streak in AA right now. His stuff's probably jumped quite a bit since the beginning of the season. A high-profile prospect out of Vanderbilt. Josh Kasevich with the Toronto Blue Jays. Zach Veen, hopefully making a comeback in the Colorado Rockies system. He's been as high as, I think, a top 15 prospect at one point. His 2023 was just absolutely brutal. I'm not sure if he was playing through some injuries or not. I know he was on the DL a few times throughout the season, but I don't know how much those injuries impacted his swing. He did miss quite a bit of time last year, so maybe he's healthy, ready to go. Like I said, if anybody who does deep dives on these organizations or individual players want to chime in on Zach Veen, that would be fantastic. But he is off to a hot start, and he's kind of looking like the Zach Veen that everybody hoped he would be, maybe even last year, but he's just been a little slow to develop in the upper minors. Jose Peroza, he's only got a first chrome. Dylan Beavers, another Baltimore Orioles prospect with a huge bat. 347, 2 jacks, 4 doubles over the last 30 days. And go figure, another big bat in the Baltimore system is Judd Fabian, a speed power guy there. He's a center fielder. Alex Ramirez, back from 2021. He was a pretty high profile guy that a lot of people were looking into several years ago, but he's just kind of been meh over the last few seasons. Marcelo Mayer, he's probably the future shortstop for the Boston Red Sox. He's a huge defensive profile, and his bat did struggle a little bit last year, but he's off to a hot start this year, and that AA experience, his offense may be catching up to his defense. And when that happens, I think he's going to kind of skyrocket through the top 100 rankings as well. Petey Halpin, who's always been a big sleeper for me, not a lot of juice, but there is a pretty big hit tool there and some speed in center field. Gabriel Rincones, finally in AA. He mashed in high A last year, and now he's doing it in AA, but he is an older prospect as well. And Benny Montgomery struggled a little bit last year. He's in AA and off to a hot start. Adiel Amador and my man Bobby Anderson, who runs my Discord server and writes a lot of awesome articles for me, he called that Adiel Amador was going to have a slow season, or a very sluggish season. He expected him, I think, as one of his picks was that Adiel Amador would be outside of the top 100 by the end of the 2024 season. So far, Bobby is nails on that one. He's struggling right now, 4 for 35 in AA with the Colorado Rockies organization. Jeremiah Jackson was a guy that I bought a lot of cards of. He was in low A. I want to say, gosh, I forget what the low A. I forget what the low A system is in the Angels organization. It's on the tip of my tongue right now, but I can't think of it. I'm going to let you guys throw that to me in the comments. Inland Empire. He was at Inland Empire. He had like 27 jacks in low A, and then he never really panned out after that. So Jeremiah Jackson struggling in AA right now. We've got a quick hitter In the Southern League, Matt Shaw, no surprise there that he's stroking. That guy is unbelievable. He's going to be a very good player one day. Nacho Alvarez, and I think he's actually changed his name to Nacho Alvarez. It's not Ignacio anymore, because if you look him up on MLB.com, he is now Nacho. So it's pretty cool there that he got rid of the Ignacio and he's going strictly by Nacho. A big sleeper guy. He's got a lot higher defensive ceiling at shortstop than I think a lot of people anticipated post-draft. I do think there's a pretty good hit tool there. I'm just not sure how much power he's going to get to. And power kind of rules the hobby. You guys know how that goes. We're going to look at a guy out of the 2023 draft, out of the University of Omaha, that's absolutely raking right now. Doesn't have a lot of power, but the dude can just flat out hit. Kyron Paris, Los Angeles Angels in Double-A. He's got 20 Ks over the last 30, and he's hitting a .07, struggling there. Into the Texas League, we've got Jacob Wilson, and my friends at PSA sent me a signed Jacob Wilson PSA 10 first Bowman card that I'm probably going to be giving away over on my Patreon page. You guys can check it out over there. You can actually join for free, or if you want to help support the channel and unlock all of my exclusive content, it's like $5 a month. But look for that coming up in the next week or two. Davison De Los Santos, a big power bat with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He snuck away out of the Rule 5 draft last year. No teams took him. He hit 4 home runs and 2 doubles and 9 RBIs over the last 30. Colby Thomas, one of my favorite sleeper prospects in baseball right now out of Oakland, a speed power guy. He's just a little old for the hobby. Dalton Rushing actually absolutely stunk it up last year, and you're going to see Diego Cartaya on the cold list with 10 Ks and a .52 batting average. So 2 catchers in the Los Angeles Dodgers organization that are probably battling it out to maybe one day be the future catcher. I'm not sure that Cartaya has lived up to the expectations offensively, but defensively, he's pretty solid back there. AJ Vukovich out of Arizona, he has been one of my sleeper prospects as well. He's a huge dude. He's like 6'5". He does have an aggressive approach, doesn't take a ton of walks, but he's in Double-A having a hot start to that. Tyler Locklear was a very prolific hit and power bat last year for the Seattle Mariners. He's off to a good start with 3 home runs and 3 doubles and 10 RBIs. Jacob Marcy, the Arizona Fall League MVP, is in Double-A, struggling quite a bit right now. He's hitting a .38 with 20 strikeouts in 58 plate appearances in the last 30 days. Jumping into High A, we've got Cam Fisher, Braden Taylor, a 2022 draftee, Jared McKenzie, Washington Nationals, and Justin Crawford. A lot of people are keeping eyes on him. He may be growing into a little bit of power. He's already got 2 home runs. He does have a significant hit tool, significantly high defensive upside in center field, and the dude can flat out fly on the bases. He's got game-changing speed, and if he can add any power to his speed, hit tool, and defensive ceiling, the kid's going to be a stud. I just don't know how much power he's going to run into over the next year or two, but either way, I think he's going to be a Gold Glove caliber player at the major league level in center field. Chandler Simpson is a lot like Justin Crawford. He's got double plus speed. He's got double plus contact, just not a ton of power. I actually think Crawford will probably get to a lot more power than Chandler Simpson does. That's the High A hot honorable mentions from the South Atlantic League. Logan Cerny struggling right now, and also Sebastian Walcott struggling quite a bit, hitting 146 with 18 Ks, but I still think that Walcott is 18 years old, so he is playing way under league average right now, and the adjustment period usually occurs when kids are pressured that much by their organization. Jumping into the High A Midwest League, we got Luis Rodriguez, Los Angeles Dodgers. He's popped up on a few hot sheets, unlike Carlos Colmenares and other players in that 2021 Bowman Chrome release. He's off to a hot start. CJ Kapus, Zach Levinson with the St. Louis Cardinals, Matthew Wood, Alex Freeland. I did want to do a sleeper video on Freeland last year. I just never got around to it. He's off to a hot start. Joe Mack coming back from the dead. Luke Keshaw, another guy that I thought was kind of a sleeper in his draft class. He's off to a hot start with the Minnesota Twins, kind of a speed power guy there. Carter Jensen He is most known for his power in the Kansas City Royals organization. He's a catcher with a little bit of thump. Jefferson Rojas is one guy that my buddy, I talked about Bobby already. I want to talk about him again because he is my man. He's does a lot to contribute to Let's Talk Wax, and I'm very thankful for him. And he is a guy that is super high on Jefferson Rojas, shortstop in the Chicago Cubs organization. Really young player with a lot of tools. He does anticipate Rojas taking off this year in a significant way. Sal Stewart, he's a guy that I really like. I actually did a future top 100 prospects video on Sal Stewart. I really like the bat. He's come a long way with his body. He may be able to stick a little bit at third base, so he's definitely a guy that I could see that's on the rise right now. Hector Rodriguez had an amazing 2023 campaign, and he's off to a hot start again in High A. And Yiddy Cappy, High A, he struggled a lot last year. He's off to a hot start. He was very good in 2022. His prices jumped up to like $70, I think, for his first Chrome Auto back in 2022. And he struggled in 2023, and now he's off to a little bit of a hot start. Ed Howard, probably one of the biggest prospect busts of Chicago Cubs recent history. He was a guy that was drafted out of high school who was highly anticipated. He was one of the more expensive autos coming out of 2020 Bowman draft. He faced injury after injury after injury, and it did not turn into a Royce Lewis type of situation. He just cannot figure it out. So kind of a bust there going on. And Isaac Pacheco, another guy that I thought would eventually turn into a pretty solid bat in the minor leagues. He's got 23 punch outs in 46 plate appearances. That's like a 50% K rate over the last 30 days. So he is ice cold. In the Northwestern League, we've got Cole Carrig, a guy that I liked as a sleeper in his draft class. 2 homers, 2 triples, 2 doubles, 12 ribbies, and 9 stolen bases. Diego Velasquez, he's a $5 auto right now with the San Francisco Giants. He's got a very good hit tool. He's just got no juice. He did hit, I think, close to 30 doubles, maybe even more last year. Like, he was a doubles machine. So I'm not sure if that's because of his speed or if it's because that he's growing into a little more power. I don't know if the doubles are going to ever turn into home runs, but if they do, he will not be a $5 auto any longer. And Dion Jorge, Colorado Rockies High A, had a jack, some doubles, and 8 RBIs. Now Jorge Ruiz is on our ice cold list coming out of the Northwest League. Los Angeles Angels outfielder, 151 batting average with 10 punchies over the last 30. In the low A Carolina League, Jason Chourio. This guy I bought heavily into on release of 2022 Chrome. It was maybe 5% the fact that he is Jackson Chourio's younger brother, and 95% because I loved his K numbers. I think he had a sub-1 K to walk ratio, took more walks than strikeouts in his opening year in the DSL. Advanced approach. He's got an excellent contact tool. The big thing was whether power was going to come or not. And that's where the 5 to 10% of being Jackson Chourio's brother was kind of like, maybe he's going to run into some power one day because it's in his genetic code. So he is running into a little bit. He's got 2 home runs and 5 doubles over the last 30 days. Glider Figueroa, Texas Rangers, he's up with 3 home runs. Blake Mitchell, who was absolutely atrocious last year after the draft over a small sample size, is off to a hot start with the Kansas City Royals, giving Carter Jensen all he can handle as far as competition goes. Christian Hernandez, Chicago Cubs, another high-profile prospect out of that 2021 class, is off to a hot start. Angel Ganau with the Cleveland Guardians. Reginald Preciado, he's still a baby, even though he was in the 2021 Bowman Chrome release. He's struggled. He's kind of had his ups and downs, but he's off to a hot start. I think he's been a lot less, his production has been a lot less than what people anticipated, for his size and his huge hype and ceiling profile, whatever people talked about Preciado. He just never lived up to it quite yet. And Kenny Gomez with the Houston Astros. Ice cold is Braylon Tavera. He was on one of my sleeper videos last year. I did expect him to kind of take off. He's a big kid. He's young. He's got a little bit of a power profile, but he can't find it right now. 11 strikeouts in a 146 batting average. And, like I tell a lot of people, we can study as much data as we want, And sometimes guys just don't pan out. We don't know what goes on with them mentally. We don't know if they're mental midgets. We don't know if they have horrible attitudes and they're horrible teammates off the field. We can just kind of read the stat line. I know a lot of guys that are in my Discord and close into Let's Talk Wax community. We try to find information like on their attitude. Are they good teammates? You know, do they work hard? Then the guys that are really heavy into prospecting aren't going to base a collection off of just a couple numbers. They're going to do some pretty deep dives. So that's when it gets really fun. Christian Vaquero, 28 Ks and 51 plate appearances over the last 30. Another high-profile guy out of 2022. Bowman Chrome was one of the headliners, so he is off to an ice-cold start. We're going to go into the Florida State League. We've got Aiden Miller, fresh out of, I want to say he's in 2024 Bowman, so I may have made a mistake and put a guy from 2024 Bowman on this list. I did do my autograph checklist breakdown for 2024 Bowman and my team break guide over on Patreon. So I did have a mental fart. One of the qualifications did have to have a first chrome auto, and Aiden Miller is going to have a first chrome auto, just hasn't been released yet. And this is one of Bobby's favorite on that 2024 Bowman release. Nick Morabito. We've got Rain Doncon. I get a lot of guys asking about Rain Doncon from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He does have doubles power right now, 7 doubles on the season so far. Yoangel Aponte with the Toronto Blue Jays off to a hot start with some power. Home run, triple, 5 doubles, 12 walks, not hitting for a ton of average, 245. Ariel Amante and Brandon Winokur round up the Florida State League. Shaylin Polanco, who got some spring training time, is struggling, 20 Ks and 57 plate appearances. And Colin Houck with the New York Mets, 21 punchies and 54 plate appearances. We're going to wrap up our honorable mentions in the Low A California League. Randy DeJesus, Christopher Torrin, Jay Bashirs, Colt Emerson, who's just been put on the injured list. This is probably Bobby's favorite prospect in minor league baseball as far as being undervalued and underrated. I think he sees him as a huge riser in 2024, but I think he's got some issues with a finger or his wrist or something going on right now. Bryce Eldridge, out of that 2023 draft class out of high school, a big body dude with a huge ceiling. Michael Arroyo, Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners system's pretty stacked right now with young talent as well. Ruben Santana with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yosui De Paula, he is up to 271, 2 triples, 5 doubles, 10 RBIs. And Lazaro Montes, hitting a little bit right now, home run, triple, double, 12 ribbies, and 10 walks. He's going to be another big bat for the Seattle Mariners. And, of course, Drew Jones, 27 punch-outs and 44 plate appearances. Yikes. I bet the Diamondbacks wish they would have gotten. I'm glad the Orioles are probably glad that they went with Jackson Holliday at this point. But he's still young. You never know. But that is glooming right there in the ice-cold list. We're going to jump into our top 5. All right, I can tell it's the first prospect hot sheet of the year because I am starting to get a little bit of a sore throat and my voice is starting to go away. These are some of my longer videos and I do tend to ramble a little bit. I guess I treat them more of like a podcast with some cool infographics in the cards. But Andy Pajes, he's promoted to the MLB recently. I think it was just a couple days ago, the 16th. He was called up. He's hitting a .183 for the Dodgers right now, 23.4. In AAA, he hit 5 jacks, 3 doubles, a triple, and had 15 RBIs, which pretty much explains why he got the call-up. He is a top 100 prospect at number 93, number 78 on the Juggernaut ranking system, 2.5 Let's Talk Wax out of 2020 Bowman Chrome for $100. Now, this is the guy I was talking about with the huge hit tool and just not a lot of power, but the hit tool is so significant that I think he'll still be a solid major league player because he's going to hit. Next, we've got Mike Bovey. Some people call him Major League Mike, one of the best contact hitters available right now in minor league baseball. The dude is hitting .553, 21 hits and 38 plate appearances over the last 30 days out of the University of Omaha. .479 batting average, the highest on this list. The price he pays for hitting with that much average is a low ISO. He didn't hit for a lot of power in college, but the dude has a phenomenal hit tool. A hit tool so great that it may not matter how much power he runs into. He's, like I said, hitting .553 with 3 doubles and 8 RBIs. He's got a 0.47 K to walk ratio, so he's walking more than he's striking out. And when you see those two numbers, you know, the 21 hits across 38 plate appearances while he's taking more walks than strikeouts. That's a pretty impressive hit tool right there. We're not going to see him hit for power, but like I said, the hit tool is very, very good. It's special, kind of like maybe a Jason or a Jacob Wilson type hit tool, but just not as much power. Wilson doesn't have a ton of power as well, but I think that we might be looking at a little less power here with Major League Mike. Number 59, the Juggernaut ranking system. He's not a top 100 prospect. Now let's talk wax rank of 3 because he is a first baseman that doesn't hit for power. I'm not sure what the hobby's going to think of that. Usually when somebody plays first base, they expect him to be like a Lazaro Montes, a Samuel Bazzalo type of bat that plays first base, a Kobe Mayo maybe. Just those kind of high-profile power bats that play first base, but he is a first baseman with a huge hit ceiling. He was recently promoted to Double-A. He is, I think I have the $15 card starred because he does not have any base autos. I didn't think I saw any base autos out of 2023 draft. If I am incorrect on that, please let me know in the comments. But I don't think that Mike has... I have a really hard time pronouncing his last name, so I just call him Major League Mike. I think his refractors are right around $15 right now. But we're going to go to number 3, Creed Willems. I did a sleeper video on Creed last year when he was off to kind of a hot start. But by the end of it, when all the chips had fallen, Creed Willems was very poor in 2023. He did not hit very well. He is a large-bodied player. He does not have a high defensive ceiling. If he does not catch, he's going to have to play first base or DH. That's just a fact. And with Adley Rutschman up at the big league level, that leads me to believe that he's going to have to play first base or DH. And he's got this guy named Kobe Mayo ahead of him, and just a laundry list of excellent hitters. Samuel Bazzalo that could also play first base, at that level. I just don't see him. I don't know. I don't see that bat being good enough to make it in that system. So maybe he's a player that they dish. I do think that from what I've heard, he does have a positive work ethic, positive attitude. He's a good clubhouse guy. So we'll see what happens with Creed Willems. And as I mentioned with the Juggernaut ranking system, he is not going to end up at a number 9 where he is at now. Like I said, I think he was right around the thousands or the 900s last year when it was all said and done. So the Juggernaut ranking system is very, I guess you could say, it's just very early for it to produce very good results. If you guys want to check out my 2023 final rankings, you'll kind of see what I mean. But like I said, when it's based on current stats, whoever's hot first, that's who's going to be at the top. And then by, halfway through the season, it'll kind of be a little more accurate with a larger sample size, and by the end of the season, it's very accurate, and you can get a pretty good read on players with a full season of stats. So he's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 5 with sample sizes this small. That's the rank that I would look at these players. 2022 Bowman, he's a $10 auto, and like I said, he was pretty awful in high A last year. At number 2, I feel like we've got a prospect that's been around forever, Orelvis Martinez, huge power bat. He's no longer playing shortstop. He's a AAA. He's getting the majority of reps at second base. And I think one of the big things I did like about Orelvis was the idea of him maybe sticking at shortstop, but I don't think that's going to happen. They've got him at second base right now. He's had 6 home runs and 7 doubles, 18 ribbies over the last 30 days, a 333 average, 348 ISO. His K numbers have gotten a lot better, 21.5. He could walk a little more with a 2.83 K to walk ratio. But he is a top 100 prospect, number 81, number 147 on the Juggernaut, a 2.5 for me out of 2019 Bowman Chrome, a $60 auto. Like I said, if you guys have been collecting for a while, you kind of know, what Orelvis does. He hits a lot of jacks. He hits for, a little bit lower average, but he's got massive power. So that's been his profile for a long time. Not a huge defensive upside guy, but he's got light tower power. At number 1, another guy that if you've been around for a while, he just stays on my hot sheets. He stays in my favorite prospects list. He is probably one of the best all-around bats in minor league baseball. He's number 27 on the top 100. Kobe Mayo, 22.4 in AAA, had 7 homers, 5 doubles, and 19 RBIs. And like I said, as far as bats go, this is one of the best in the major league or the minor leagues. Not considering defense, not considering tools, not considering speed, just flat out bats. I think Mayo's one of the better ones. He does have a 30% K rate right now and a 5.16 K to walk ratio. Now that's kind of out of character for Kobe Mayo. He usually holds really solid K numbers, but like I said, it's very early in the season, and those things could change drastically throughout the course of an entire year. But one thing is for sure, Kobe Mayo, he's gonna hit. He's done it since 2021. He struggled a little bit, I think, in his early 2022. He was kind of like Gunnar Henderson. He had that little period where he struggled and kind of fell off, but it didn't take him long to get back on track. So number 27 in top 100, number 53 in the Juggernaut ranking system. Like I said, I really like his bat, so he's a number 1 Let's Talk Wax ranky. He's the highest Let's Talk Wax ranky on this list. His release is out of 2021 Bowman, and his cards are about $125 right now. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode of Prospect Hot Sheet. If you guys enjoy this content, I'll do it every 2 weeks, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got lots of cool exclusive content over on my Patreon page as well if you guys want to check that out. A huge shout out to all of my Patreon level 3 sponsors. You guys rock, and like I said, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything I do in the future. Y'all have a great day, and good luck with your breaks. If you're breaking 2024 Bowman, it releases on May 8th.